original.
And I'm in love with the money.
Today, I am live with Jermaine White. Jermaine is a mortgage agent and he has a specialty that he wants to talk about today. So, Jermaine, I'm just going to give you a minute or so to introduce yourself and what you want to talk about.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Jermaine White. I'm a mortgage agent. I do everything as it relates to commercial and residential mortgages. My niche, though, is anything that's related to power of sale, anybody that's struggling to make their mortgage payments or want to consolidate debts. And the reason why this is my niche is because a lot of the people in the Black community, right, are struggling with their mortgage. And one of the main reasons is they are uneducated as it relates to the options that's available to them. And because of that, a lot of them find themselves in situations that they can come out of, but they because of the uneducation, they find themselves in power of sale or struggling or incurring high debts, right? So this is where I'm here to assist all of these.
Yes, and I think this conversation is very timely because the past 2 years have been hard, especially on homeowners.
Yes.
If they had a variable rates, they saw that their mortgages went up significantly. I had a variable rate. I started out at $1,400. Now I'm at $2,500. OMG, right? So we can understand what could create a turbulent situation for homeowners, especially with rising inflation, higher interest rates, and just life circumstances that change. So could you explain to us what exactly is a power of sale?
Okay, yeah. So what a power of sale is basically when the homeowner defaults on their loan, right? As it relates to the current what's happening in the current climate, right? The rise in inflation may cause those that went into variable rates to incur these increased payments, right? So what the power of sale is, once they default on the payment, right, the lender now goes to the court to get a judgment in order to take possession of the property, not ownership, right? Mm-hmm. Take possession of the property in order to get their money back by selling the property, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of people think power of sale and foreclosure, they make the mistakes, right? Because people think that power of sale is a foreclosure. It is not. What a foreclosure is when the lender takes ownership of the property, right? Okay. But in Ontario, we don't do a lot of foreclosures. We do mostly power of sale because the process is a lot quicker, and it's more advantageous to the lender, to the homeowner, because now they have still some skin in the game if there's something left back from the sale of the property. If there's a foreclosure, then there's nothing the homeowner can get back after the sale, because they give over ownership of the property.
So the power of sale is the lesser of the two evils, I guess?
Yes, it's the lesser of the two evils because now the lender takes possession of the property, not ownership of the property. And in some cases, it doesn't have to go that far where the lender will take possession of the property, because the court is more lenient to the homeowner. So if the court sees that, okay, the homeowner is implementing different ways to try to pay the lender back, they will give the homeowner some time to do that. And sometimes the lender will as well too. And that's why I encourage clients to have a good relationship with the lenders that they have. So the lenders will be more lenient on the client.
Okay. All right. And how many missed payments would normally trigger a power of sale?
Well, generally it goes from lender to lender, right? The lender can miss, generally the lender can miss, say, 2 missed payments or 1 missed payments. If the missed payments past 15 days, they can start the process, right? Now what the process is not initially a power of sale process. It's just a process that says, okay, they're going to send a letter, a demand letter, or a letter called a notice of sale on the mortgage, right? And that's when the client misses at least 15 days, right? It could be more, okay? And what that is saying is they're just telling the client that, okay, you missed 1 payment or 2 payments, right? What's going on? You need to pay us, okay? Now the client now has what is called a redemption period, which is 35 to 37 days, okay, to respond to this lender. Now, some clients, what they do when they see this letter or this notice, they panic because they see it coming from a lawyer or whatnot. They start to panic and they say, okay, I cannot afford it. What can I do? And then they try to dodge the lender, which is the worst thing you want to do. You want to communicate with the lender, let the lender know, okay, this is my situation. Can you give me some time to pay back this amount or get back up to speed, right? Because in this process, you're just gonna pay back what is owed.
Okay. All right. So what kind of life situations have you found that trigger this type of event in a homeowner's life?
Yeah, what happened? The impact of 2021, 2020 panic buying is what's impacting the power of sale process right now. I last year I did, the stats haven't come out yet for 2023, but last year I did 15 power of sale files.
Okay,
I
that's a lot.
see people even dying from the power of sale to stress, right? And
Wow.
what happened is a lot of people they went through the panic buying where they bought houses over what the value is, way over the value. So we see that in 2020, 2021, where a $500,000 house was selling for $800,000.
Mm-hmm.
And these people don't understand the affordability because they've went to mortgage agents that it's about money. So the mortgage agent didn't educate them that, listen, you may not afford this property in the next 2 to 3 years, right? So they go in, they purchase these properties, and now when we see the inflation and the interest rates go up, now they can't afford it because their income cannot sustain maybe an $800,000 property or $1 million property.
Yeah.
So that's
And
where
I
the
think,
power of sale now, because they're missing the payments because they cannot afford it.
yeah, we all wish we had a crystal ball, right? Because a couple years ago, we wouldn't have foreseen the impact of rising interest rates and our budgets, right?
That's
So, so what steps can you take? You said, of course, communicate with the lender, maybe change your amortization period to lower the monthly payments, pay interest only. These are some of the options, right?
Yes. Well, the amortization period, it depends on the lender product that the client has. And that's why the first thing I tell every single client, right? When you're working with a realtor or a mortgage agent, make sure that they're working for you. Ask all the questions you want to ask. And if they get annoyed, find somebody else. Because you're the one that's living on the property, and you're the one that's gonna feel it at the end of the day. Okay. So one of the steps that you can take, right, is look at the affordability, look at what your income is, right? And look if you can afford this property, right? Look at your debts, right? A lot of people, what they do as well, I see they do as well too, they take second mortgages because the mortgage agents might encourage them to take out a second mortgage for say $100,000, right? And they take out these second mortgages and they don't understand that these second mortgages they come at a cost, because at renewal they have to pay for these renewals on these second mortgages, and oftentimes they won't be able to pay it out at the end of the first year. And that's what brings them into the power of sale as well too, because now they have the first and the second increases over time. So you will find a second mortgage jump from say 100,000 to maybe 200,000 over 2 years.
How would that happen though?
Right, because what happens, sometimes the client will take out a second mortgage, and then the mortgage agent might encourage them to take out a little bit extra to pay down this debt. Or sometimes what clients might do is they don't understand that yes, the equity is there in their home, but the equity is still a loan. They have to pay it back. It goes back into the mortgage. So what the clients will do, they pull the equity out, and they put it out to do things that maybe wouldn't make much sense. Maybe to go buy a car. Maybe they put the equity out to lend some money for something else that wouldn't make much sense. They don't put it out for say investment purposes. And some people put it out to say, okay, I'm gonna invest into rentals, but they don't do their homework to understand that okay, they're doing a rental property, but let's see if we are buying the property, what's the resale value on the property if the rental doesn't work out in that area.
Yeah, and it has to have enough cash flow to service the debt as well.
That's right. That's the other cash flow to service the debt as well too.
So if someone should find themselves in that kind of a position within a power of sale, what action can they take at that point?
Well, if they find themselves in a position in the position where okay, then they are in the power of sale process, and as I said, power of sale goes through stages. right? So it's not gonna get to the court stage right away, right? The first stage, they're gonna get the letter from the lender. It takes 35 to 37 days for them to, they have that time to respond. After that process, then if they don't respond, that's when the lender goes to the court and file what's called a debt, a statement of debt of claim and possession, right?
Okay.
Now, when the lender files that, they still have 20 days to respond to file a defense, right?
Okay.
And throughout that 20 days, if they don't respond, that's when the lender now goes for a judgment, tries to file a judgment against the client, right, to take over the property. So the client has time to try to find a different lender that may lend to pay out the mortgage, right? Sometimes they can sell the property before the lender takes over the property, because if they sell the property before the lender takes over the property, now they have more control over the sale of the property. Right? Or they can even reach out to the lender to try to figure out a way to make some payment plans.
Okay.
with the
Okay.
lender, right?
So basically, you still have options. You can
You have options. Yeah, you could make
continue
payment
to
plans.
communicate.
You can
Definitely.
communication is the best thing. Reach out to the lender, let the lender know this is my situation. Because of the inflation and everything like that, I'm not getting enough hours at work. What can we do? Can I pay you a little bit extra every month just to keep up? Or maybe they can try to sell the property, because if the court sees that they are trying to sell the property, they're not going to give over the property to the lender.
Okay.
Now the
Okay.
client is taking the necessary means to sell the property or to remedy the situation. Or sometimes they can find a different lender because they are equity-based lenders, right? So some clients don't understand that, okay, then there are two types of lenders. There are lenders that lend based on your income, and there are lenders that lend based on your equity. So it depends on what's going on with the property, right? That's where we look at what lender will best service this client.
Okay. All right. So the good news is that you have options
Yeah, there are options.
before you get into a power of sale situation and after you get into a power of sale situation. The best thing is not to panic. Communicate with key persons like the banks, mortgage agent like yourself to find a solution, right?
That's right.
And you had shared with me previously a case that didn't work out too well. Maybe you could give us a synopsis and I could maybe comment on how that could have worked out differently.
Yes, so stress is the number one killer of people, and I see stress in a lot of homeowners. I see homeowners that told me, Jermaine, I don't want to go home, so I drink. Right? I see people get diabetes. One of my clients actually died because of stress, because they were going through the same mortgage struggles because the interest rate rose, and she didn't want to speak to anybody. I spoke to her for 3 years. She didn't want to speak to anybody, and she just started smoking and drinking. And what happened there is she got cancer. And she came to me in January and said, Jermaine, you know what? I have cancer, and and I have 3 kids. Help me save my house. But at the time, based on the stage of the cancer, we couldn't really talk that much or do an application. So she eventually died in March. Long story short, she died in March. There was no insurance, no life insurance, nothing. So the bank came in and they took away her house. They put her husband and her 3 kids on the street.
That's a very severe situation.
And I always tell clients, listen, always get life insurance. Life insurance works. Critical injury and disability insurance works, because when the lenders lend based on risk, and when they see that you have critical injury and disability insurance, right, they are more prone to approve that mortgage as opposed to if you don't have it. Because when you have critical injury and disability insurance, what the lender is saying is, okay, then if you should break your leg or if something should happen,
you have income coming in.
You have income coming in, right? There's a life insurance, so you put something aside just in case, unfortunately, if you die, you have your 3 children, right? They don't get kicked out of the house. And one of my other clients, that happened to him as well too, where his wife unfortunately died, but she had insurance. So the insurance paid out the house. So now him, my client, and his 2 children, they live in the house mortgage free because of the insurance. So it is very important to seek a financial advisor as it relates to insurance, critical injury, disability insurance, life insurance, and all that.
Yes, I can't say how important it is when you're making such a major purchase as a home. Remember what it is. It's shelter for your family. Do not risk not having life insurance in that situation, because you're not only risking yourself, you're risking the ones that you love. So
That's
get
right.
life
That's right.
insurance, protect your family, make sure that they're taken care of if something happens to you. We cannot predict the day, right?
No,
So
we don't.
have
We
that
can't.
safety net in place. And critical illness and disability coverage, critical illness, if you should get cancer or stroke or any of the illnesses covered by that kind of a policy, you are getting a tax-free lump sum payout if you survive 30 days. That can cover your medical expenses, your living expenses, right? Supporting you during that time of treatment and recovery, right? That is a one-time lump sum payout. If you have disability coverage, you can get monthly payouts for a contracted period of time after a contracted waiting period. So put these safeguards in place, protecting your income and protecting the ones you love. I cannot say it too many times. If you're a homeowner, if you have anybody depending on you financially, right, that their lives will be adversely affected should should you pass or become disabled, unable to work, put these safeguards in place and protect your loved ones. Jermaine, thank you so much for bringing light to this subject. I appreciate your time and
Thank you.
your willingness to share your knowledge. And of course, if anybody wants to get in touch with Jermaine, his number is on the screen. Jermaine, it came off the screen. You get to repeat it. Tell them your number.
905-598-2669. You give me a
Awesome.
call
And
anytime.
okay, anytime, he said, call him anytime. And for me, if you want to get in touch, my number is also on the screen. It's 647-951-6905. If you want to talk about life insurance, critical illness, disability coverage, get your family protected, get your income protected.